Thank you.
Ja? Ja, ich bin hier gerade, wir sind gerade zweit hier, deswegen. Okay, so.
I'm very, very stressed.
Stressed?
Very stressed.
So, how can I help you? I don't know if I can help you, but we can do this. And my English is not as good as it should be, but I try my best.
So my situation is life-threatening. I'm bound to I either live or I die in Germany. It's very, very bad. I came here in 2016, yes?
Yes?
Under false pretenses. I was told to come here for job this, job that, and I worked in Munich, which I know is Bavaria and it's not here.
Okay.
So I worked for Sky Deutschland. They didn't pay me.
Sky?
Sky Deutschland. They didn't pay my AOK. They didn't do the finance code correctly at the finance amt. I got a Munich lawyer who basically went to get my money back. And at that point I had no real idea of what went on in Germany, right? I said, I want to go to the Arbeitsgericht with you. No, that's against the law in Germany. I go. He took a backhander from Sky Deutschland. I never ever got my money. 2 years later. So I then joined SAP. Now I have 2 passports, Canadian and UK, so I'm allowed to work in Europe, yes?
Okay.
So my boss was from London and he was continually making racist comments about Canada, this, that. They became violent, pushing drugs, alcohol. It got so bad, I then went to Waldorf and explained the situation. I mean, he was basically calling me a terrorist. It was ridiculous. Not just to me, but to quite a few people. I had videos, I had the pictures. Let's say you have your cabinet there. He had a cabinet full of alcohol there, and when he rings the bell, if you don't drink or take cocaine or something like that, you're fired. Okay. I showed all of this to Waldorf, and they said, you need to go on Krankengeld. I said, but I'm not sick. I'm getting sick because of what they're doing, and because we live in a global market, he was sending emails to Canada, Poland, and everything, making it look like I don't know what I'm doing. I've worked at Bank of America, Royal Bank of Canada, 17 years. This man is an alcoholic and a psycho.
Okay.
So basically they said go on Krankengeld. I then started to get messages from their working council saying if you tell anyone what's happening at SAP, we will no longer be able to protect you. That's not...
SAP?
Working council said that. That's not a good thing to say. Mm-hmm. So I collapsed in my hospital, in my hotel room. I got taken to the hospital. Someone stole my clothes, and I said I had enough. Really, I had enough of Munich. So I went to Hanover and I got a lawyer to take on SAP. 1 week before the Arbeitsgericht in Munich, I got attacked. I got all my evidence stolen. I got hospitalized, and I couldn't attend the court case in Munich. I was hospitalized in Düsseldorf. My lawyer, Daniel Lauterbach, then said, oh, because you've moved city, I'm no longer your lawyer, and completely disengaged. I said, how am I supposed to go to court? That's your problem. Deleted all of the work, so I now have a lawyer in Munich and Hanover with critically confidential information. I then went to Düsseldorf and Cologne to try and get help. With the lawyer in Hanover proved that I was never terminated. From Sky and SAP, I've never had a termination notice. SAP didn't pay my wages, they didn't pay the AOK, they screwed up the finance amt, and these are not small companies, right? These are huge companies that should be getting...
But you have a... What is
contract.
Contract?
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They would just lie after not pay me. What are you going to do? So I can't physically go down and make AOK, SAP, and Sky give me the money. Well, I can't twist someone's arm. They're like, what are you going to do? Do something. So then it was like, go to the police. Not our problem. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. So when I arrived in Germany, I came with very little money because I had a very bad accident where the Toronto Transit broke my ankle, and I took on a big company by myself, and in North America, it costs a lot of money to get a lawyer, right? So I came here with very little, but my resume, I've worked for Formula One, Lloyd's, Bank of America. I'm not stupid, but I expected them to at least do the right thing, and I don't know the language. So my situation got worse and worse and worse, and then some of my USBs, which had a lot of my evidence on there, were getting stolen. So I was receiving attack after attack after attack, and I was going to the Arbeitsagentur, where they help you get a job.
Yes. Arbeitsagentur. Yeah.
For Arbeitsagentur, genau, and also the job center. Both Cologne and Cologne and Düsseldorf said, you don't speak German, get out the building. So the reason I ended up in Trier was, I thought, okay, it's a smaller city. I met someone in Aachen who pretended to be my friend and stole some more of the information. So I ended up in Trier, and I ended up at Franz Jorgstraße. And the guy that stays there is a social worker, and I'm like, okay, you gotta help me here. I'm dying on my feet. So I've not been to one bar, one club. All I've had is a fight since I've come to Germany, a complete fight. So what happened is he's like, okay, you can stay here. His girlfriend took a huge dislike to me, but at least it's a mailing address, right? So I went to the Arbeitsgericht. I explained what happened in Munich. She said, well, that's not true in Germany. You can go to the Arbeitsgericht. There's nothing stopping you. That's a lie. Then she looked at all my legal documents from Munich. This is a lie, this is a lie, this is a lie. Then from Hanover, the lawyer in Hanover said, I will be your lawyer if you make German friends and you stay in Hanover. Those are weird things to say, right? So I told the Arbeitsgericht that. She said, under no legal German jurisdiction do you have to make friends or stay in Hanover. So I said, look, this is my situation. So I had a lawyer against AOK because the 1 week before I go to SAP, AOK stopped my Krankengeld. They froze my payments from SAP. I had all my bank cards stolen. Commerzbank froze all my credit cards, my bank cards. I had access to no money. 1 week before the court case. All done within 24 hours. So there's no coincidence, right? So I showed the Arbeitsgericht in Trier. So then I had a lawyer to get my money back from the lawyer in Munich.
Okay.
And if a lawyer is trying to take on another lawyer, they don't normally like it, right? It's like the police taking on the police.
Okay.
It is what it is. So I now have 5 lawyers in Trier who've taken the Berechtigungsschein, taken my money, written legal letters, said, yes, everything you said is correct. This started in January 2018, and I have no money. The only reason I'm alive is citizens from, not Germany, have given me money to stay alive. Otherwise, I'm dead.
Okay.
Well, not 1,000%. What they're doing is getting all the way to the Arbeitsgericht and then saying, oh, you speak English? It's in Munich, I'm no longer your lawyer. And this has now happened 7 times. So, the reason I'm at the social end, and the ministries in Düsseldorf are now looking at what happened, because there's no question in my mind. It wasn't like someone put a gun to me, but I got cut off everywhere. Money, hospitals, healthcare. And I could have easily just died outside. The reason I'm in the social one, and this is the weird part, my treatment in the job center and the Arbeitsgericht for Arbeit was nothing short of violent. Violent. I went in there because I was a member of the IGM trade union in Trier. The staff there looked at all my legal documents and said, you've been treated like an animal. The chef of the IGM came back, and he was connected to Munich and became very violent, but said, go to the Arbeitsagentur. So they're like, wow, you've worked at all these places, we can get you a job in Luxembourg, in France, and anywhere, man. Not many people have a resume, a Lebenslauf like yours. I said, okay. I sent them all the Lebenslauf, okay. No reply. Then when you go to the biz, where you can apply for jobs, the lady there, the Frau, was going around pretending she couldn't speak English and telling people not to help me. And I'm like, what's going on here? Really, what's going on? So I went to the manager, Mr. Bock, and I said, I've given your staff my resume for quite a few weeks now, and several of your staff, and a lady there called Charlotte Wortman said, we've been told not to look for a job for you. And I said, well, is that not the whole purpose of this whole building? Yes. I said, so are you telling me you've been specifically told not to look for a job for me? Yes. And they said, also your email was blocked. And I'm like, why would you block my email? She's like, I'm not allowed to disclose that information. And I'm like, so if all of this coming from Munich? And she said, I can't tell you. So then I said, I'm entitled to benefit, right? Job allowance benefit, to at least stay alive. So they sent me to the job center, and this is where it gets even worse. I get to the job center, and they're mocking and laughing at me, people that I've never met before. Wait a second. So I wait 2 hours, I'm the very last person, and I get taken in to see a Miss Weber. And security escorts me in there. I'm like, why do you need security? I just got my documents, what's the problem? So I get in there and there's a translator. I said, okay. So she said, oh, you've applied for a job seeking allowance many times. I said, no, I haven't. No, I can see you have. I said, no, I haven't. She said, you applied in Munich? I said, yes, that was in between Sky and SAP. That's the only time. I said, all the other times, even when I went into the building, they refused to speak to me because I can't speak German. And there's tons of refugees here who you need to speak English to. I said, I have my contracts in my bag. No, it's my decision that you will get no money from Germany. And I'm like, hold on a second. I said, by EU and UN law, I've worked here 1 year. Even if I haven't worked here 1 year, you're entitled to an emergency fund. It's not a lot of money, but it keeps you alive, your existence, right? Because there's an allowance 1 and an allowance 2, right? So she's like, the only money you're going to get is a flight the hell out of Germany. And I'm like, what? And security said, I think it's time for you to leave. I'm like, I don't even know you people. She stamped it, and I'm like, so I am literally being blocked everywhere, and the only way, I'll tell you exactly why. If I stabilize my life, and I'm relying on Asian people, Polish, if I get my life back at an apartment, and all my evidence comes out, it would make SAP, Sky Deutschland, AOK look horrendous. Because essentially, they pulled the plug on my life. They cut all my access to money on October